Hey there, thank you for tuning in and watching my video. So today I want to talk to you about a skill of emotional intelligence or EQ. But before I do, let me quickly explain to you what emotional intelligence is. In its simplest form, emotional intelligence is the capacity to be aware of, control, and express one's emotions and to handle interpersonal relationships judiciously and empathetically. Okay, so scientists, after years and years of research and studies, have found that people with the highest levels of intelligence or IQ outperform those with average IQs just 20% of the time, while people with average IQs outperform those with high IQs 70% of the time. And so scientists attribute this irregularity to the critical factor of EQ or emotional intelligence. So, according to Bradbury and Greaves in Emotional Intelligence 2.0, emotional intelligence is made up of four EQ or emotional quotient skills, those being self awareness, social awareness, self management, and relationship management. So, today I want to touch on social awareness. How socially aware are you? We often hear about self awareness, and we have a good or decent understanding of what makes us tick, what impacts us when we're feeling sad, angry, happy, frustrated, or even our emotional triggers. And more importantly, the why behind our emotional triggers. Oftentimes, people just know that they're upset and they respond to things, and you're like, why are you acting like that? I don't know, it just made me mad, it just irritated me. Well, going a little bit further in self-awareness, even understanding the why behind that helps us grow emotionally. Okay, so self-awareness is knowing yourself from the inside out, but social awareness is knowing yourself from the outside in. So, do you have a good understanding of how you show up to others? That's what social awareness is. So, a quick story. Last night, my 12-year-old daughter and I were having a conversation, and we have an upcoming family engagement. And I was telling her, you're going to have to dress in something nice for the occasion, no t-shirts or jeans. And of course she responds, Mom, I don't wear jeans. And so we're in this dialogue, and I'm expressing to her, this the important event and how she needs to uh, present herself, in a good manner. And so we're having this conversation, and she tells me that she Mom, I don't like how I look in certain clothes, and they make me feel uncomfortable. And so I told her, I said, Michaela, you're going to have to be able to trust us as your family when we tell you you look really nice. That's another level for yourself to go beyond just how you feel, but open up and trust us. And this is what she says to me: Mom, you always want to embarrass me. And I looked at her and I said, What? She said, I want to embarrass her by making her wear tight clothes. Now, if you know anything about me, tight clothes is the farthest thing I would ever wear or I'd want my children to wear. And as far as, if my clothes are tight, it's probably because I put in an extra 5 pounds or so and I just need to go buy some. So we got into this, kind of a little bit more heated conversation. And the shirt she was referring to was a shirt that I told her she looked cute in. It fit. It just wasn't baggy and it wasn't tight. It just fit and it laid on her. So when I think about it, the issue wasn't really about the shirt or any of those things, But the issue was there was something I was doing and saying that was impacting her. And so I had to slow down my thoughts a little bit and begin to think about it. So I know we can all think about a time when we were negatively impacted by an individual. Either the way they responded to your idea, or the chuckle released, or the eye roll, the sarcastic comment or tone, or maybe it's the constant stream of what you could do to improve upon something. Oh, that's great, but what about this? Oh, you got an A in math? Great. How'd you get a B in science? Those kind of comments. Or when maybe with your spouse and you put on something and you feel really great about it, and your spouse says, you look nice. Why don't you wear these shoes? Or you look really great. Your friend, your girlfriend may say, why don't you wear your hair this way? Those things that impact us emotionally, right? And so when those things happen, what comes to your mind? Either you start thinking, well, I'll never tell you anything again because of your sarcastic tone, or I'll just keep my ideas to myself. Or as far as the dress, well, maybe I won't go. You just go, right? So we get feelings of frustration and anger, resentment, or even sadness and defensiveness. But when we take the time to think about these people in these interactions, once we take a step back from how we're feeling, honestly, we probably could all say that these people really do care about us and love us. But the issue is how they showed up to us in that situation or moment, that they hurt us or wounded us. Why? Because they lacked some emotional intelligence. They were not being socially aware. So back to my 12-year-old daughter's comment. You were always trying to embarrass me. Now, I could chalk that up to her being 12, in puberty, her being dramatic or immature in her thoughts, which I've actually done in the past, to be quite honest, with my comments like, yes, Michaela, my whole life is focused on making you feel bad. So in that, what happens? I've become defensive now versus me listening to her feedback. Because believe it or not, she is giving me feedback. She is giving me information about reactions to her performance or task, or performance of a task, which is used as a basis for improvement. So she's giving me information about my actions or how I'm presenting myself to her in order for me to improve. Mom, you're always trying to embarrass me. She is helping me become aware, socially aware, and to view myself from the outside in. Okay? Even though it's not my intention, how I'm showing up in the moment is causing an impact to her. So to the point of this all is, if you want to improve upon your relationships, personally and professionally, we all need to grow in our skill of awareness, social awareness, which is done through being open to feedback, which can be challenging, right? We call it constructive criticism. Get the word criticism out of it and look at it as information to help you get better, to improve. That's all. Sometimes we need to just take a moment and process it. Now, it's not my intention to make my daughter feel embarrassed, but how do I need to look at myself to present the information in a different way that maybe she can receive it versus being defensive and impact our relationship? Okay, so this information that she's giving me is helping me to improve as a mom. Any information from my husband, as a wife, helping me to improve, as a leader, a pastor, whatever area you're in, we have to be able to be open to receive feedback, because we're talking about emotional intelligence. And if I go back to the point, people with high emotional intelligence outperform those who have the highest IQ. And it makes me think of this TV show that my husband and I watch. And so, yes, I'm going to clue you in a little bit about some of the things that we enjoy. And one of the shows we watch is called Naked and Afraid. And so in this show, everybody it's a man and a woman that come together, no clothes, but they go out to places like they're left in places for 21 days, whether it's the Sahara Desert or someplace in Africa or Louisiana, the swamps of Louisiana. So they have to be able to survive. They're testing their survival skills. That's the whole purpose of it. Some of it is so silly. But one of the things that they do at the beginning of the show is that they rate individuals. I think it's called a PSR. So they rate them based on their skill, their fit, and their emotional capacity. And so these people have skill, intelligence in areas such as hunting or firefighting, being out in difficult, challenging physical situations. Some of them do. And what you realize is some of these people who have the skill, who have the intelligence in these areas, do not have the emotional capacity to withstand the environment of being out in this place, wherever they are, for 21 days, trying to figure out, they're not getting their sleep. Where do we eat? It takes all of this emotional energy that I have seen men who go in with high scores who tap out in 3 and 4 days, and the woman who has greater emotional ability actually withstands and stays the entire 21 days. So emotional intelligence is such a key and crucial, vital skill for us as individuals and dealing with our interpersonal relationships. Many of us struggle interpersonally because we may be self-aware. We may know what impacts me and what I'm feeling right now, but do we know how we are showing up in other people's lives? That gives us the totality of actually who we are as an individual, not just from my own perspective. So I'm going to say challenge yourself to grow in your emotional intelligence, okay? And how do you do this? Ask your spouse, your child, your friend, your coworker, your supervisor, or anyone else around you, your parents. Ask them for feedback. Ask them, how do I make you feel when? Do you feel supported? Do you feel understood? Do you feel heard when we're in conversations? Do you feel criticized? Do I come off as teasing you or sarcastic? If you're at work, ask your supervisor, when you have to correct me or give me feedback, do I come off defensive? Am I deflective? Will I take accountability or not? Do I make excuses? Because we're talking about emotional intelligence. This is how we grow emotionally and raise our EQ. That is, if we want to reach our full potential and repair and build healthy relationships so that we can truly be all we have created to be and have those relationships that we can pour into and connect with and really have close intimacy. So again, today I just wanted to share a little bit with you about social awareness, which is one of the skills to our emotional intelligence. Not just how I know about myself, what I feel inwardly, but outside in. Ask for feedback. And when you receive it, because it's challenging, try to take it in. Lean into those emotions that you feel when it's like, what? And process them and have some critical thinking. Do I do this? How, if they're telling me this and I'm hearing it from several different people and different, environments, maybe it's true. Maybe I need to look at it and then begin to think and operate differently. So, again, social awareness will help grow our relationships in our families, in our work, in our churches, ministry, communities. Let's become more socially aware and really build our emotional intelligence as well as our relationships. All right? So next time I'll talk to you about one of the other components of emotional intelligence, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.